Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning. My name is Spencer Walsh. It's Thursday, January 10th, and on today's show, we're looking ahead to President Trump's visit to the southwest border. That's today. We also have an update from the trial of the drug lord El Chapo and contested election results in the Democratic Republic of Congo. That and so much more. This is The Wake Up. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And on today's show, we do have kind of a mix of things. So let's just dive right in. So at the moment, the president is calling the shutdown talks, the talks that people, like that are various people, whether it be him or the Democrats or the Republicans or some party is trying to organize to get him out of the shutdown. He's calling those right now a waste of time. And yes, now the president is scheduled to visit the border in McAllen, Texas today after walking out of a meeting with Democratic leaders who said they wouldn't fund a wall even if President Trump agreed to end the partial shutdown, which is the correct response. The wall would, again, I think they just have a fiscal responsibility. At the very, very, very least, to not fund the wall. Because it just seems to be like there's no kind of evidence. Like just speaking from a statistical standpoint here, there's no kind of evidence that any kind of the major problems that happen on our border right now or any of the major issues, the wall wouldn't stop really any of them. So that's the thing that they're going to have to contend with. That's the thing that Democrats right now, I feel like, are slowly realizing that this wall isn't going to be that much of a help towards them. And I think if they can get that, and if they can get that through people's minds, I think it's going to be a major, to their benefit in a major way. So, yeah, the thing is, though, he could still declare a national emergency, a move that would allow him to bypass Congress and use money allocated for the military to build the wall. So, yeah, there's so many problems with this. He would be stealing from the military. He would literally be stealing from the military to fund a wall that a third of the country wants. It would really be quite sketchy. It would be it would be almost kind of like a dictatorial type power because you're going around a large portion of the country to build this thing, and it's something that really people feel strongly against, as much as they feel strongly for. And the fact that you're going around the elected representatives is just very, very sketchy. And it's something that, you even speaking even from a legal standpoint, is a little bit questionable. But here's the thing. Declaring a national emergency really could be really the only realistic, quick way out of the shutdown crisis. But it would be an extraordinary violation of constitutional norms and establish a precedent for presidents who fail to win approval for funding a policy goal. So yeah, that's something that, imagine, again, this is kind of a little bit of a trope at this point, but imagine if Obama had even considered doing this for one of his projects, like funding the Affordable Care Act. Like, that would be mutiny on the Republican side, like threatening to declare a national emergency for that, when there is literally, healthcare. It was much more of a problematic issue at that time than immigration is at this time. Immigration is getting better. Legal immigration is getting better, not worse. Why do they want to do this? It's because, well, they want to. The concerted effort is all signs point to they're trying to attack immigration that is legal. Like, that's what they're trying to do. It is pretty crazy, though, right now in Washington. The streets of downtown Washington are just really, like, all shuttering out. Everyone's out of town for the furlough and all. So that is, Washington is kind of just grinding to a halt at this point. So about 800,000 federal employees are furloughed and working without pay, and many are concentrated in the West, where the Departments of Agriculture and Interior are major employers. Some of the states most affected at this moment, so if you know any of them, you got Montana, South Dakota, New Mexico, very strong, Maryland, and D.C., obviously, big ones as well. Vermont has a few, some you maybe wouldn't expect, West Virginia and Virginia. So there's various shades of it. 46 for Oklahoma, 44 in Missouri. This is again by 10,000 per 10,000 workers. So, yeah, but the biggest is Montana. The second biggest is Wyoming. by that count. So anyway, Alaska has 173 federal workers. I did not realize that. That was kind of down on the map, but still, it is a very big. It's a very big problem. It's really kind of bouncing back and rippling through other parts of the economy, and we are on the verge of. And this is going to be tomorrow. We're going to tie the longest ever shutdown. I think. I think it's like 20 or 21 days or something. It's going to be very unbelievable that that's happened. Yeah. So about 800,000 again federal employees are furloughed, but that really stretches out for a long way. In Washington, D.C., about 145,000 workers have been furloughed, turning in the capital into what one restaurant manager called a ghost city. The House voted on Wednesday to fund the Treasury Department, the IRS, and other agencies, including White House operations. It was one of the several bills intended to draw support of wavering Republicans who aren't totally unified on this bill. So they passed it with 8 Republican votes in the House. So that is interesting that they were able to get that done. It's somewhat encouraging. So we'll see what other parts of the government they're able to get out with while the stupid border wall debate continues seemingly never to end. So the U.S. has spent $1 billion now on the struggles of the Afghanistan Air Force, and people are really starting to take notice. For years, the American exit strategy from Afghanistan relied on building and training that country's military to fight the Taliban on its own. The U.S. has spent nearly $8 billion in the past to build up Afghanistan's Air Force, but it is still, at this moment, a work in progress. Aircraft from the American-led coalition carry out roughly 5 times as many airstrikes as Afghans do, and the Afghan aircraft have killed civilians at a higher rate. So they're pretty much, there's no way to say it, they're just pretty much worse. No other way to say it, they're just worse than just even an average Air Force, let alone the U.S. Air Force, which is pretty well trained and well built and good, just to say. It would be a home run if we got 60 to 65% self-sufficiency for Afghanistan Air Force, said a retired general who commanded the air training missions in 2013-2014, so that's going to be something they're going to have to work on there. The thing is, Afghanistan could rely on American support for years, complicating Trump's efforts to withdraw U.S. troops, which, is something that we all want, right? We all want these people to get out there in Afghanistan to be self-sufficient when Trump wants to take out American troops and get them home. So that's something that we should all be paying attention on. So 2 studies on Wednesday document how Coca-Cola and other Western companies have helped shape Chinese food and beverage regulations. An organization funded by some of the biggest names in snack food offices inside China's health ministry has worked to stave off food regulations and soda taxes. So that's a weird situation where money buys politicians everywhere you go. It's not even where Xi Jinping has a ultra tight grip on a lot of the facets of power. Money isn't always the or Xi Jinping is not going to be controlling everything. When there's money involved, there's always something. There's always something at play here, and there has been a lot of interesting things going on. Their fund, of course, the director of the group said that its activities are based on science and not affected by any business. Coca-Cola actually tried similar tactics with the U.S. several years ago, saying that exercise, not dieting, was the solution to the obesity crisis. An outcry from public health advocates. After an outcry, it stopped those efforts. So, now to a little bit of a suspense thriller. The Mexican drug kingpin on trial in New York, El Chapo, hired a technology expert to protect his communications. The FBI then persuaded the expert to turn on his employer, opening the floodgates to his private messages. They paint really an astonishing portrait of El Chapo, not only as a philanderer, but also a man who relied on women in his life to help him conduct his daily operations. So, yeah, pretty much El Chapo likes the women, and didn't always stay faithful, let's just say, to his wife, and that is probably the least surprising thing if you ever heard of drug dealers. If you ever have followed any kind of drug dealers any sort of way, from Pablo Escobar to Felix Gallardo, who is the predecessor to El Chapo, they're all very big philanderers. All right, so update now on Rod Rosenstein's departure. Probably one of the biggest stories that not really many people are talking about. The Deputy Attorney General, who has been overseeing the Russian investigation, is expected to leave the Justice Department after President Trump's choice to run the department is confirmed. U.S.-North Korea summit going on right now. President Moon Jae-in of South Korea today said that a second summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un of North Korea could happen soon. The Congo election results are right now officially being contested. Voting officials in the Democratic Republic of Congo declared Felix Tshisekedi the winner of the presidential election, despite independent assessments saying otherwise. And in an auto emissions settlement, Fiat Chrysler has agreed to pay nearly $650 million to settle lawsuits on emissions cheating scandal. And of all those stories, though, probably the most interesting is the Rod Rosenstein departure, because if Rod Rosenstein's out and William Barr is in, who is going to be there to protect the Russia investigation? Maybe the House? I mean, you don't know. You just don't know. So that's going to be a space very well worth watching. CES is currently going on right now, so that's something worth watching. What could happen next? In terms of consumer electronics? I think that's what it's called. The International CES is what's very, very exciting for the future. So yeah, I mean, if you wanna be wowed during work or something like that, you can check that out. So Carlos Sanchez played Juan Valdez, the embodiment of Colombian coffee, and one of the most recognizable pitchmen in the world for nearly 4 decades. He died at 83. Baby Shark, the infectious children's song, debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 this week. Its creator is a South Korean educational brand called Ping Fong. Now it has as many top 40 hits as Jimi Hendrix, and that's just going to be something you're going to have to deal with. And also a little bit of a jab from Trevor Noah recently, sharing a podium. And this is probably, you want to hear the worst joke you're ever going to hear? Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer shared a podium and responded to President Trump on Tuesday night. Wow, you guys really are socialists. Yeah, bang. That's really good. Yeah, so that is just about it for us today. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today. It's the Wake Up